One of the topics that they spoke about was self-sabotage relationship. And quite frankly, that is self-explanatory, like really self-explanatory. Why is it self-explanatory? It's because those who self-sabotage a relationship are people who have not gotten over the previous relationships or the relationship after that or the relationship after that. What they did was they let unhealed pain build off the next pain, so that way, when they get into a situation where everything works out perfectly, trust me, I know from experience, being that I'm always the good guy, and plethora of my previous wives, not exes, wives, self-sabotage a relationship. Because when you are in a situation that seems so perfect, well, that is perfect, hey, you just make crazy ass decisions. You know you hurt. You know you're in pain. You know that person did you dirty. You fucking know it. But instead of saying, you know what, I need time to be by myself, I need time to love myself, I need time to learn myself, you think filling that hole inside of you or that crack that you can't seem to glue together, you want to go ahead and jump out there. This is equivalent to playing basketball, you knowing you got a broken ankle. It's just going to go downhill from there. And look at some of the relationships that you have partaken in. You know those relationships went completely off the wall because the person opposite you, you're just waiting for something to go wrong. You just sitting there waiting. Nothing's coming. You start to question yourself, question life, the past. Why is this not happening? Because you are not healed. Take your ass in a corner and go heal. Simple as that. Now, that segment opened the doors for a real great segment. Let's talk about it because I know Anton believes therapy is a scam for the most part. Ali tends to agree with that to a degree. Of course, I let it back and forth too between those two, Mr. Lego and Veronica, about therapy. Let's just the parts that I think it needs to be talked about. Mr. Lego said men need therapy. Of course, Anton Ali disagrees. So here's my take on that, real quick. You need both, and because Anton Ali said you just need men around you. And they're talking to the men. You need men around you as a form of therapy versus an actual therapist, or whatever the case may be. I agree to a degree. Yes, when you go through things, man, we just have to go into our inner circle and go to people that can actually help us, who can actually talk us out of this dark place that we're in. It's like, my brother, let me extend your hand. Let me get you out. Let's go ahead and fix this. That's right there. I agree 100%. But also, I agree with therapy because, believe it or not, although I appreciate my brothers, I appreciate my boys, they're just not going to get me out of every single situation. I'm not going to get myself out of every single situation. There's somebody who is qualified, certified, who might be able to be that flashlight for me in the dark forest at night. I don't believe in cutting off all options. Yes, I do understand that men have to rely on each other. I do agree with that. But you have to exercise all options available, especially if you're in a real bad situation. Now, I don't believe men should be vulnerable with women because I believe women can use that against the men. The only time a man should exercise all these options that may be looked down upon by other men is when suicide is knocking at the door. There should be boundaries set in place. If you get to this point, all bets are off. I believe is when you're knocking on the door to cross to the other side and there's no way back. Now, Anton asked the question, how do you know if you're healed? That's easy. When the shackles are no longer holding you back, holding you down. That weight of mental oppression, depression, whatever words you want to use, is finally not holding you back. There are memories, there are thoughts that creep back into our minds that can cause one to be compromised. If Anton's here, I understand. I know what he's going to say about how, as a man, that's not going. A man should not go through that. He doesn't go through that. You're supposed to power through all that. We agree. We understand. That doesn't negate the fact that this actually happens. So he can receive healing through multiple options. One, it can be therapy. Two, it can be him talking to his boys. Three, it can be some form of coaching. Four, it can be some type of mentorship. It's whatever door God opens. You just have to walk through it. So to answer his question, how do you know when you are healed? Is when the shackles are no longer holding you back. That's when you know you're healed. Now, Ali said therapy cripples you. Here's my take on that one. There's some truth to that. If you are dependent on therapy and you haven't been clinically diagnosed, we agree. Therapy session, because it can last weeks, it can last months. There should be a graduation date. I've been to therapy 3 times in my life, and I had 3 graduation dates. And I'm not afraid to say it now. Anton, I heard the comment Anton saying he thinks the man that goes through therapy is feminine, or whatever the case may be. Obviously, he's speaking about generality. He's not talking about all, obviously. I laughed when he said that comment, but I'm not ashamed to say I went through therapy 3 times and I've graduated 3 times. I feel like I'm healed from what was holding me back. How do you know I'm healed? Because whatever the shackles that were holding me back are free. They're gone. I'm good now. And there's some people that too depend on therapy. Let me bring Charlamagne into the picture, because Charlamagne goes to therapy once a week, Fridays, 3 o'clock. He says this all the time. That's because he was clinically diagnosed with anxiety. Not only he goes, he's the advocate for it. And regardless of how Anton, Ali, and other people may feel about that, and they're 100% well in their rights to feel that way, I would tell them this: be happy you're in your position and not in their position, because you might see things a little bit differently. I could definitely empathize with them. The only reason I say empathy is because I never been clinically diagnosed with anything. I never took any medications for anything. I just needed an outlet to talk, because I did not have people I could talk to. Now, especially during the last time I went, because I did that on my own, completely on my own. Like, ladies and gentlemen, I remember back, maybe it was during the pandemic, and I probably heard this a couple of times before the pandemic. They say, check on your strong friend, see how your strong friend is doing. I am that strong friend. I am the one that people come to with their issues, where they need a ear or whether they need a solution. They normally come to me. Question is, who do I go to? I'm that strong friend. Now, granted, suicide is never going to be in my mind. That's when that slogan came in. Check your strong friend. That's referring to people who was on the brink of suicide. Bar of the night. Ali said, kids don't need meds. They need men. That was the bar of the night, and I appreciate that. I can't tell y'all just how much a man being there or a father being there can fix a lot of things. I know you have these women who don't understand aspects of being a man. Sometimes just a father being there can fix everything. If you just understand that sometimes a man being there fix it, but not only the man being there, the work that the man puts in, because that's his kid, that's his child. It helps a lot. It unlocks an inner strength, inner level inside of a kid when the father's there, especially when a kid is going through things. The father being there fixes a lot. And unfortunately, women, we love you, but you're just never going to understand that. Just like there's some aspects of women we're never going to understand, just the father being there, you can't compare it.